blonde hair, an inner power that takes understanding and personal growth to obtain, a love for food, and a strong gravity that pulls in characters around them. Hachimaru and Naruto have a lot in common as characters. That's just about where their similarities end in their story. Hachimaru is the protagonist of Kishimoto's lesser-known manga he released after his box office world-changing manga franchise called Naruto. I'm sure you've heard of it. Samurai 8, The Tale of Hachimaru, didn't pick up as much traction as Naruto did and got discontinued early. But I'm here to tell you, it's worth a solid read, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the world of Samurai 8, the characters, the power system, and the scaling of the verse to sort of give you an idea what you'll be getting into and show you it might be more interesting than other people give it credit for. The first thing I'm going to go over is the characters. The main character of this series is Hachimaru. I'm not going to get into spoilers about his past in any major way. I'll go over what I believe isn't massive spoilers. And if you've read this manga, you'll surely be able to tell when I'm using less than in-depth details. Hachimaru had a weak birth. He's smaller than he should be, he's super skinny, and if not for being hooked up to life support and being on a liquid diet that his father helps him keep track of, along with allergy shots all the time, then he'd just be dead. His bones break super easy even doing everyday things. He can't move from his spot very much and never gets the opportunity to go outside. Him and his father have a rough relationship and share harsh words with each other constantly. Hachimaru's dad is a mechanic and very skilled with tools and knows a lot about samurai technology. His name is Dr. Furuta. Without getting too much into his past, just know he knows a lot more than normal people should and used samurai technology to keep Hachimaru alive. Hachimaru was ranked number 1 in his samurai fighting game, where he played as the legendary Wolf Samurai. He was basically unbeatable and was super amazing at guessing people's next moves. When he becomes a samurai, he brings a lot of those skills he learned while playing those games into real combat in creative ways. Becoming a samurai was a godsend for Hachimaru, and he was saved from a life of being hooked up to a machine like he has been so far. He's very friendly and naive towards everyone he meets due to a lack of social interaction, and he has a natural ability to draw people in towards him. But he is destined to be hunted, and his father was keeping him safe and hidden from a villain named Ada. Alright guys, just a quick sponsor from myself. I do all the work for these videos, so if you do like them, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. Ada's goals are to open the boxes of Fudo Myoho, and now he's trying to get to Pandora's box. He's searching for Hachimaru since he might be the key to Pandora's box, or maybe something else. Not getting into that in this video. Daruma is Hachimaru's samurai master and teaches Hachimaru what it takes to be a samurai. He's one of the leaders of the samurai, Kango Yasha style, and the other style is Ususama style. Daruma is very skilled as a samurai, and he uses his mind's eye to see, although he's not the best at it. He's in the top 5 strongest samurai though that we see in this manga, and the master of Hachimaru and the former master of Ada. Ada used to be the former Kango Yasha style and switched over to the Ususama style. Daruma also lacks a princess, so he's probably the strongest samurai if he did have one. Even without a princess, he can still exchange blows with Ada and not immediately be killed, and Ada can literally do this. Literally flew through the moon for fun. He broke it into 2 pieces and sent it crashing down to Earth for literally no reason other than to be petty. And that wasn't even his real body, that was an avatar he made out of H particles. Ada's current master is Kala, and Kala's goal is to destroy the galaxy and return it to what it was like before Fudo Myoho created it, since he thinks nothingness is true beauty. Hachimaru's goal is to be the new warrior god and save the galaxy. He gains a princess who wasn't the best at her job, but that was just because of losing her brother, and how much Hachimaru reminds her of her brother. Once they communicated as individuals, they get over the past and help grow the future, since in a way her brother passing brought about Hachimaru's success and inevitable success saving the galaxy. Hachimaru's princess is named Anne. Her brother was training to become a samurai and died to the ritual and left Anne doing not so good, since she was originally gonna be his princess. Now, what is this ritual I'm talking about? Now that I've gone over the characters, I'm going to go over the world that they live in and how it works. One major thing I feel like people miss when hearing about this manga is the world building it has and the level of detail and character Kishimoto manages to bring to life. Kishimoto drew heavy inspiration from samurai and science fiction and saw a way to combine the two, and he did so in a remarkable way. I'll try not to spoil major plot events in the story in this video, and just give you enough to show you what I mean. In this world there are samurai, of course, but before we go over samurai and their physiology, I'm going to go over the hierarchy. In the world of Samurai 8, there are indeed samurai. They are in charge of protecting the planets and the galaxy they reside within. Every samurai has a key holder or robotic mechanism of sorts that they can fly and fuse with, and most samurai have a princess, as a samurai without a princess is known as a ronin. The princess is very important for samurai, but I'll go over that a little later. Below the samurai there are bushi. Most bushi come from training schools where they undergo strict training and help protect the planet. They are deemed as strong humans with exceptional skill, but they aren't anything like samurai. The best of the bushi will gain the opportunity to become samurai. But there's one issue with it. They have to perform a ritual suicide known as seppuku. They perform it in front of these things called locker balls. A locker ball is this object that resides within the planet that a bushi or really any human can commit this ritual in front of with a chance to become a samurai. The locker ball was created by the warrior god of the verse named Fudo Myo-o. He's the original one who created H particles in the galaxy that they are in, which is what samurai use to power themselves. He came from a different universe. He resides within a state between life and death and can't interfere with the happenings of the world directly. This is why he put locker balls on the planet, so he can indirectly have samurai do his will. If a bushi or normal human doesn't have the right stuff, then he will just die if he fails the ritual. That's the whole point of bushi in the first place. The princess can adequately tell over time with a certain percent of certainty which bushi is least likely to die in this ritual. Back to Fudo Myo-o. He is a being comprised entirely of H particles and created the galaxy this story takes place in. So what happens when he decides someone has the right stuff to be a samurai? What's the difference between a samurai and a bushi? There is a huge difference between a samurai and humans. Bushi are only humans. They aren't supernaturally powered like samurai. Samurai, on the other hand, are not human anymore. Once they survive the ritual and become a samurai, their old body is discarded. They gain this thing called a threefold body. They are a key inside of a body that looks like a spine. These are bodies granted to them by Fudo Myo-o. With these bodies, they gain a lot of different natural abilities and powers. Some of these powers, without getting into too many spoilers, include the ability to travel in space, just like they can walk upon the Earth. Space has no effect on them. They can fly at super ridiculous interstellar speeds, even to the point where some people can travel from one star system to another in one day. They gain immense physical strength to the point where they can scar the face of planets, or alternatively, catch the hits with no effort that could scar the planets. Some samurai gain what is called the mind's eye, where they can see the true meaning of things, or the true value of something. It's never really brought into too much detail, but people like Daruma have it. They've seen glimpses of what's possible in the future with it. They can lose limbs and battle and just reattach the limb or grow it back depending on how much energy and time they have. They gain access to abilities that once their stats are high enough, they can use them, and the stronger the ability is, the more energy it drains from them, as the less they can use. Samurai are completely comprised of H particles, or the particles that make up the galaxy that they're in. The abilities fundamentally control creation and particle manipulation. The more skilled the samurai is, the more they can adjust the density of H particles. They can disperse or bring together matter. That is fundamentally what their power actually is. This is how they can change the shape of their key holder or a mechanical organism. They can keep them in animal form, ship form, or armor form to do what they need. They have weapons called samurai souls, along with a handle bone, turns into a blade that can change depending on the user's skill with it. The samurai soul can be used to split matter, and this is certainly on an atomic or subatomic level, considering it splits apart matter on an H particle level, which makes up everything in their galaxy. So in the universe of Samurai 8, the only technical thing a samurai can't cut is something that is too large for their power or another stronger samurai. Some of the key holders can turn into mech suits that grant immense speed and strength, or turn into suits that can slice up planets. One thing I haven't brought up yet is the princess. The princess is one of the most important things for the samurai. In this world, for a samurai to have maximized power, they require three things. A key, which is their spine-like mechanism that powers the body and can download information and be used for many other things, mainly the real body of the samurai. The threefold body the samurai have are irrelevant to the damage for the most part, but the key within them is the real thing that can kill them. But depending on how strong the heroism of the samurai is, they can live without the key for periods of time. Next is the key holder. The key holder is a mech or creature that samurai uses for travel, armor, or artillery. It can greatly boost the power of the samurai almost to an exponential level. And thirdly, there is the princess. The princess and their samurai should share a powerful bond. and the bond they share will determine the overall power and might a samurai possesses. It's literally stated their stats will go up by dozens of times with a proper princess, let alone one they are fully connected to. The princess prays and chants for the samurai, which strengthens their soul, and all of their stats from speed and power to heroism and gravity go up. A samurai without a princess can still be powerful, but they will never reach the full potential unless they have one. Now that I've gone over the world building, the power system, and the major important characters, I'll go over some interesting things now that you guys might like to hear. The scaling. Now, whenever I've seen anybody talk about the scaling of this verse, it's been from people who haven't read the manga and only saw a couple panels. There's a lot of nuance to this series that will absolutely be missed if you don't read it first, such as the bond with the princess amping the samurai and the keyholder. For instance, like I said, the more powerful the princess's bond with the samurai is, the more powerful the samurai is, to literally 12 through 24 through potentially 48 times now. So a feat performed by someone without their princess can't be held against someone with their princess. Also, the keyholders can literally be more powerful than the samurai at times. Like the keyholder itself could scar the planet, but the samurai himself couldn't. We see Ada, in the course of one day, flying from a different star to Hachimaru's planet, and that was just an avatar who was much weaker than his original form. It's unknown if they scale to their flying speed in combat. If they don't, then they potentially have basically no speed scaling other than massively relativistic to light. Considering in a literal moment a slash made it a moon's distance away and was blocked by Daruma in his true form, extremely casually, this makes him some percentage of the speed of light in combat if you grant that to him, but I'd likely say that they do scale to their flying speed in combat to some degree, considering Ada can teleport away Daruma and the Cat Samurai and their keyholders while in flight towards him in space, where they should be massively faster than standard. People like Daruma blocking a massively multi-continental slice that came from the moon keyholder makes sense, considering he survived and clashed with Ada, who instantly blew the moon in 2 pieces for fun in his avatar state. So it makes perfect sense to no-diff a slice that can scar a planet. It is worth noting that the keyholder that can scar the planet can't destroy them with the same attacks, so it's not planetary. He even went out of his way to stall until his missiles that could destroy the planet could fire. Ada, on the other hand, declares that he could have destroyed Hachimaru's planet if he was in his true form and not his avatar state, but his princess warns him not to be hasty because of Daruma. Daruma, even in his weakened state, clashed with the weakened Ada avatar, which was made of H particles, but it's also worth noting he had his princess helping him, so it's possible without that, Daruma could have beaten the avatar. Daruma also stopped the blitz attempt. We see Daruma with Hachimaru's help, which I might add at this point shouldn't be too much since Daruma massively outstats him completely. They erase the moon from existence by turning the Earth's atmosphere into a giant fucking wolf and eating it. That's super metal, I know. And that was in his weakened cat state, who just barely recovered from his fight with Ada. So destroying celestial bodies isn't out of the question for sub-high tiers like Ada and Daruma in his true state. Hachimaru, on the other hand, never scales to this. He's demonstrated to be much slower than Daruma, even a nerfed one, but sometimes he does beat Daruma to attacks, which is impressive. But a lot of the times it's worth noting that Daruma's mind's eye lets him know when to be cautious and when not to attack. Hachimaru goes in half-baked and gets the princess put in danger, so it might not actually be that Hachimaru is outspeeding Daruma at all. And even Daruma, even in his true state, doesn't even have a princess and still performs these feats, while Ada does have one. Now, Ada doesn't just need power though, he can just battlefield removal people like he did to Daruma and the Cat Samurai, where he sends them to a pocket time space. Now these are the sub-high tiers. People like Kala would massively outscale Daruma or Ada, but we don't know what he's capable of. Time for spoilers now, so if there's a time to click off, it's right now. You ready? Alright, good. Hachimaru has this infamous scene where he's shown with infinite stats that I see everybody using. This is only for a singular instance before he becomes the next Fudo Myoho and turns into Pandora's box. He never scales to infinite stats, ever, unless you count his shooting star blade, and that's it. Now we don't know what his numerical values mean, or if infinite actually means real infinite, because Fudo Myoho only created a galaxy, and the box is only going to destroy a galaxy. So without being too semantics filled, I'll leave it at this. Either Fudo Myoho, and by extension Hachimaru at the end of the series, he's a box at the end of the series, so he can't actually fight. Those infinite stats are him becoming a box, so they're either galaxy level, or universal, or potentially outerversal, since he lives unbound by time at all. He literally calls time a relative construct for humans, since he's made of ageless particles and exists as both living and dead being. Entirely possible he's unbound by dimensionality. But I wouldn't be so quick to use this level of scaling for them, since they can't directly interfere with the world and only exist as H particles, which is why he made the boxes to begin with, since he can't actually interact. These are just hypothetically what he's capable of if you wank them. So that's my video. If you guys do like this, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you. Have a nice day.